My heart is also full because I get to watch a lot of great Overwatch, and I get to see teams advancing to the main event. I get to celebrate with them. 2 more teams going at it right now in our second match of the EMEA region, Deimperos and ROCStars. ROCStars we just got to see yesterday, but let's, refresh our memory about Deimperos a little bit, because both of those teams, they lost to Twisted Minds and made quick work of FACEIT. So that tells us nothing, really. They did face off against each other in the Swiss stage, though.
Yeah, they did, and that ended up being a 2-0 in favor of Deimperos, but I think what's really interesting about this roster is they're still rated really highly. There was a lot of really great moments for China on the Tracer, just being able to get a lot of sticks and quick picks, and when it comes down to play against a roster like ROCStars, I think you're going to have to bring that firepower.
My brain cell is like, oh, team from China? No, China on the team.
Yeah.
And a lot of new names, a lot of rising stars going up against the stars of ROCStars. I am putting all my stocks into Rojo. I think this is going to be like the next big hit scan in the league. If he's not already like that guy, he's a Sojourn to definitely worry about. He could be the next Kai if I'm going to just overhype him, but I really believe ROCStars can take the series.
Gas
I know, do not let me down, please.
All gas, no glaze.
But honestly, though, I mean, obviously, recency bias here. ROCStars looking so dominant yesterday against FACEIT. It was the new additions which impressed me. Gucci really showed up on the Tracer, doing so much work, and you need that consistent Tracer player in your team. Skyle in the backline, which is out fragging people in the survey, like that Baptiste looking as dangerous as any DPS in this squad. So I'm ready for this. Looks like our viewers definitely also in favor of Deimperos here. Let's see if they can get it done and qualify into the main event. We're about to find out. The teams are ready, and so are we. So let's take a look at the maps.
Woo! No sweeps, right? Because you and I were going back and forth on who we think is going to take the series.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm with Chad on this one. I'm with the predictions. I do think that Deimperos should win this matchup, and I believe it will be a 3-0.
Wow! Okay, Chad joined me on my cope train. ROCStars, you don't call them the stars for nothing. They looked great yesterday, but I also still need to get to know Deimperos, and I'm excited to see who's going to be
recency bias.
I know, I'll admit it. That's fine. And we'll go to Nepal to see who's the better Orisa.
That's true, actually. I think that's a good point, though, right? Is that this meta is all about the Orisa play. I think both Crocs and TVNT have proven themselves in those roles. The one thing that I think makes this a little interesting is that Crocs has had to play the Orisa into the likes of Twisted Minds, which is not an easy opponent to have to play. They did sadly just lose to them 0-3 in the winners finals of this group, but we're back here on Shrine to see if they can maybe right the wrong and make it into the main event. But you're right, I think ROCStars, they do have an opportunity here to get an upset. The Baptiste Cassidy backline for ROCStars could prove to be really detrimental on an off angle, especially if you're able to keep Gucci in check.
TVNT is just dog walking at them with a spear, and he just gets to hit that onto Kyo for free. Like, I was right about to set up, the Rojo versus Kyo match, or Gucci versus China. That's a weird sentence, but Gucci, had like a mixed performance when I watched him yesterday. It definitely felt like the Rojo show. But Gucci so far has done a good job, and apparently TVNT is the alpha tank.
What's really nice about this backline, again, like not only do you have the Cassidy and the Baptiste that can play together, but you can also play a little bit more of a brawly unit. You have the Immortality field that'll cover the whole team. If Deimperos want to continue to take these buildings to get to the point, it will be a little bit more difficult for them to actually win that matchup if ROCStars want to play up close and personal. But that's where the Kiriko can come in. Kyo's also going to make a big difference.
The revenge of Kyo did not care about being first blood last fight and is gonna give them a taste of their own medicine. TVNT just wanted a hug, man. Just said good job on winning the team the fight. Kyo just that much closer to the overclock too, and Deimperos are back on the point.
Just like that, I mean, ROCStars were able to get 50%, and so we're coming back into this one with 4, almost 5 ultimates on the board. Gives them a really good chance to be able to take back control. The only problem is that now that Deimperos is set up on this point, they can have Kaio play really far back with this Sojourn, and so how do you actually find access? Your team doesn't have the same amount of mobility or ways to get away as Deimperos does, so these rotations will be a bit slower for ROCStars.
Okay, it's a lot of good headshots onto Crocs and their Kitsune Rush versus Ant Matrix. A Terror Surge from Crocs to try and zone them off the Ant Matrix, but the AoE sound barrier is what kept ROCStars anchored in as much as possible. Here's another Terror Surge, and it caught some of Deimperos who are still trying to escape. Even dying on the point is where Crocs is trying to go, but ROCStars will be stealing that back now.
Right, ROCStars with a really good attack there. Having to use the amplification matrix pushed Deimperos into a weird position where they had to use a sound barrier. Kyo is still going to come back with this Sojourn Overclock, though. So Gucci, a little bit more onus on this player to try to bait out this Suzu from EGS, and then... Alright.
Yeah, good Suzu. That pulse was also right into the tank, so you might not even need it. So baiting out a Suzu for pulse is not even that bad of a trade-off, but it's not like it's sparking a window of engage out of ROCStars. They're playing so far back. Kyo with the off angle and the overclock, and the immortality has been used by Skyle, and TVNT reacts at a good moment, but his backline did get hit, so ROCStars don't have a good main healer, so Deimperos are back on the point, stealing that away, and finishing off ROCStars, who chased after 1 kill.
It's going to be really back and forth between these two teams because you're looking at Rojo on ROCStars to try to get a pick. Same with Kyo on Deimperos to open things up with these more long-range hit scans. But as we enter into last fight territory, Deimperos, they do get really close to having this Terror Surge, and this Kitsune Rush can be valuable to try to close the distance on the amplification matrix that Skyle is coming up with. You can't necessarily sit so far back if you are Skyle and Rojo, because this Kitsune Rush will help Deimperos get up in your face.
China's close to a pulse bomb too. Don't think they're on the high ground. Okay, they got back up. They had fell off, but ROCStars ready to engage. And the pulse right onto Rojo, but the immortality from Sky saves them, and AoE might have had the barrier canceled. I'd have to double check on the replay. Either way, ROCStars just playing off the amp as best as they can, and Rojo was trying to deliver the big kills, and it's just not working out. This is a difficult angle. You know, the half wall is quite tall, and Deimperos are just gonna win it out 191.
I mean, you can even see the angle from here. If you have the amplification matrix, you don't necessarily have easy sight lines down onto the point if the rest of Deimperos are going to play around those pillars. And so, you know, a tough positioning for ROCStars to have to take, but Deimperos do win that very first round. Heading over to Sanctum. Marissa still plays really nicely here, but I think Rojo switching over to the Sojourn makes a lot of sense if you want to try to not only contend with the Sojourn that Kyo has been playing, but also just take advantage of the angles that are so easy to get with something like that power slide. Whether or not we actually keep the Symmetras, though, different story, but we've seen it both ways, having to play the Symmetra over the Tracer in that role.
ROCStars teleporting forward. The Sojourn battle, where even our last series we saw that some people like Cassidy on here too, but if you want to play an aggressive angle, you need all the help you can need for mobility, and Crocs in dangerous spot, no mega available, and AoE is trying to boop him off the map. So Deimperos have already lost Crocs, not able to save him in that position. He got surrounded there by ROCStars, and that'll be their cap first.
All right, really quick take. Once again, ROCStars just off to the races, being able to get the first capture. What a great spear from TVND. That's been one of the maybe more impressive things I've watched about this Orisa play, is always being able to get those spears. It's really hard to be able to angle that and get a good sense of when that projectile is actually going to land its mark. So TVNT just being able to get some big stuns. Crocs trying to do the same, but these straightaways here, Skyle's gonna be a little bit closer to getting this Kitsune Rush up first.
Then there's a Tracer battle between China and Gucci off to the side. Whoever wins that could obviously go on the flank and add pressure to give the rest of the team a chance to play forward. point still in Rockstar's favor, and again, the longer this fight goes, the better for them. So it's Deimperos that have to make a move, and with AoE on this edge, this is really annoying, because you don't want to die to an environmental. That really sucks, BM or not, Tread. But Rockstars are holding firm for now.
So a lot more percentage that they're able to grab too, while Rockstars are biding their time to try to win out this duel on the high ground, and here's the Kitsune Rush.
Kitsune Rush may just help TVNT win against Crocs, and Crocs used the Terror Surge to get the Fortify, and didn't get the finish he was hoping for, but it is 3 versus 3. DPS gone for Rockstars, but no tank and no heals for Deimperos. 70% plus for Rockstars. This is getting hairy. TVNT just being the anchor for the point. Getting the finish onto Chef. A 3-man barrier for Rockstars, engaging into the remnants of Deimperos, but Keo kills TVNT, and this could be possible for Deimperos thanks to Keo.
And then right in the nick of time, too, because Rockstars almost walked away with that entire round, 100-0. But Deimperos have their work cut out for them now. Keo, with all of those picks, was able to earn himself an overclock. And with these angles, if you have that power slide available, you might even be able to power slide over to the other corner and try to get an off angle that way.
Overclock from Rojo, and Croc being so aggressive in his face. Keo unleashing on his own front, and TVNT is also body blocking that. China wins the Tracer 1v1 against Gucci, so keep an eye on what he could do on the flank. Maybe chasing down Rojo. He's been a menace so far. Here's China trying to do just that. Chef uses the barrier to help the rest of China's team push from the front, as China will disappear into the shadows. Rockstars hoping to still fight for this point back, and all thanks to Gucci and AoE, they're able to do that, but while being split, Rockstars lost the overall fight, so getting up to 94 is nice, but Deimperos are back in.
Back on the driver's seat, EGS has the Kitsune Rush as well, but I'm kind of looking at China right now to be able to land another big pulse bomb. Is the problem, though. With the Kiriko on the other side, you either have to bait out the Suzy with the pulse bomb or try to find another way to do that. Maybe it would end up being the Kitsune Rush first. So is it going to be China engaging before we see that, or is it going to be the other way around? Either way, we're about to find out. Last fight territory up on us.
Kitsune Rush putting Rockstar's backs against the wall. There's China from the back at the pulse. TVNT is literally body blocked by 5 people. He cannot escape. At least, you know, his little ducklings got to get out and splash in the pond for a bit until Deimperos are coming out of the archways, chasing down kills. They're almost touching the spawn room doors. Deimperos have no chill at all.
Have no chill, have no ults right now either, so maybe Rockstars do have a chance to get back into this. They have one more attempt to do that because of how quickly that fight did go. So they gotta just get past this choke, and that disruptor shot's gonna do a bunch of dock damage.
Rockstar's gotta touch the point here very soon. 97 plus for Deimperos. Gucci may be on there, but just got shot there, and that's the disadvantage of playing on the point, is that you are exposed to damage. There is no good cover that's also touching the point. Now who will keep that overtime wick burning? At least TVNT and friends are starting to win the fight against Deimperos, and Rockstars have a split approach trying to keep overtime going. Deimperos caught off guard by this rotation. Deimperos stuck in the closet next to the point, unable to escape because their taxi, Chef, has left the building. So Rockstars taking the point, making a big comeback, and forcing round 3.
Left the building or locked down by Gucci? I think that might be more the case there, that Gucci was able to just put so much pressure onto the backline that the supports had no choice except to try to pocket each other and make sure that they were focusing on that. But hey, look at that. Round 3 on the cards for us on Nepal, and still kind of even when it comes down to how these fights have gone. Very close. I know I said it was going to be 3-0. I didn't say it was going to be a stomp 3-0.
That's true. And yes, Deimperos got the last laugh last time they met, while Rockstars have been leveling up ever since. And now we're in the group stage, last chance to get to the main event. All cards are on the table. It's a Tracer v Tracer, but Cassidy v Sojourn. So Keo can take more aggressive off angles, and the Crocs got a little too aggressive, or the shoe on the wrong foot, so Rockstars get to push into the rest of Deimperos, who are now unprotected.
So we're seeing a similar story of what we saw in round number 1, where it's the Cassidy Baptiste for ROCStars versus that Sojourn Kiriko from Deimperos. ROCStars can stack on top of each other, which is why they're able to win that front to back so much easier. And Deimperos are going to have to watch out for that. I would not think it's a good idea to go that high ground approach, and in fact they don't do that. Getting an opportunity to take out Skyle while ROCStars is split.
China just one-clipped Skyle and had a melee too, and China's still killing things! ROCStars gotta turn around and deal with them! China killed 3! This Tracer is going unchecked, and Skyle, I don't know if he didn't have the immortality, but if you're in a bad spot, that has to be used.
It's tough because it's a tough call, right? Because you know that immortality field has such a large cooldown that you gotta be able to use it for the right time. Even if you're using it selfishly, it might mean that you're still not gonna get that value if you still get taken out. So I don't know, it's always a little bit difficult to make that call. But Deimperos, they now have control of the point. ROCStars are trying to take this engage, stacked up again as a team of 5, but Deimperos are not letting them have that advantage playing on top of the point.
Now you know that Kyo's charge shot is gone. This is where ROCStars are going to push in more aggressively. TVNT doing that, and then Crush just ignores him and just starts shooting Skyle and AoE. Like, you can't let this Orisa just gallop past you like that. The Crocs is insane for that. Deimperos will be taking the point back, and they're starting to get a pretty serious lead now.
That's a sign of a good Orisa, though. Orisas that are able to spot those small little openings where they can just walk past the Orisa, isolate the team backline, and take them all down one by one. The Katsina Rush definitely helped with that. EGS was able to pump a ton of healing into Crocs in order to chase down those low health targets, and you had China there as well to be able to help out in that regard. But Deimperos are now playing from a deficit as Chef is taken out early.
And there's no sound barrier, no healing, no hope. Deimperos at least are giving us an entertaining match. They're just gonna try and die on the point as best as they can. It's surprising to see how much these backlines are really suffering. Maybe that's the trade-off of having these aggressive Orisas that aren't turning around to peel with a spear throw or anything. So I'm loving what I'm seeing out of Gucci in China.
Hey, if it's gonna be these aggressive, fast-paced fights, then we get a chance to see a lot of them too, as they're gonna finish up really quickly. Deimperos, though, they are gonna take this high ground approach, even knowing that ROCStars are able to play grouped up as a team, but they have a lot of tools to deal with this. Namely, it's gonna be Kyo's overclock.
And Chef not wanting to counter with his own barrier, maybe waiting for the more guaranteed play, and the overclock with all the pin set from the terrace.
They were ready.
It is very insane. Deimperos, great coordination, good combo. Now they're just gonna go yoink the point back. And it's coming down to last fight to determine our first map.
That was such a good setup too, knowing that ROCStars would play together as a group. The immortality field came out just a little too late, and you saw the power slide from Kyo to be able to sandwich the team while they were all clumped up like that. We are gonna see a scatter as ROCStars come back, hit the Deadeye, zone away Deimperos, but this is last fight for Deimperos.
Rojo's sense is gonna make my stomach upset. That never got to see it, notice that before. Deimperos used sound barrier, but were unable to save Crocs. TVNT in a similar dire position, but Skyle brings it back to full. Good play by TVNT, slapping Kyo around. ROCStars stealing the objective back. Will be bringing us to our final fight to determine our first map and see if your prediction is wrong or right. At least on good track.
Hey, we'll see. I think it's really set up for success here for ROCStars, though. If they can play around this amplification matrix, that's really what it comes down to. Where does Skyle decide to hit that? Can Deimperos limit the amount of agency that amplification matrix can have?
Yeah, can you zone them off? I'm seeing Deimperos do their best, but ROCStars are just too good. Even with the pulse from Gucci that kills Kyo, you don't have a huge GPS threat from Deimperos' side. And Gucci was let loose at the end, and that's why he's a high-cost player to have on your team. ROCStars will be taking map 1.
Look at that, ROCStars with such a close map number 1 are able to pull the first punch. And so, hey, just maybe we are going to have a really, really close map in our hands. Listen, I'm the only one. We saw the chat predictions. That's all I'm saying is...
Y'all are onto something.
We still might be onto something.
that was really close. I mean, round 3, 99-99 throughout most of that. Sanctum can be a bit snowbally because there's more tough choke points to get through, but yeah, ROCStars pulling through at the end, and it's like in our last series, it can come down to these big tracer plays between Gucci and China, where you saw China had a really good start to Village, and then trailed off in the end where Gucci took over. Kyo versus Rojo aren't like having these insane pop-off moments. It's really the Terra Surge with the overclock combos that have been cool to watch, but we'll see if y'all are still onto something about Deimpero and if they can come back next map.
This is why we've got like the good cop, bad cop for this matchup. Like, you're clearly a ROCStars fan, but like, I'm gonna be in the Deimpero camp, and hey, we'll see who's gonna win out the prediction after that. But it's been close, and I'm super excited to see how the rest of this series is gonna go, because it might just come down to the wire in every single one of these maps. Let's listen to the winning comms from ROCStars as they closed out that first map.
Shoot them.
Last light.
So high ground, last light.
I'm dropping by here.
Trace your ban.
This one.
Can me.
Left side. Kid, not this.
No recall.
Only tracer.
Nuri.
Nice, good job.
And you heard just really good identification of the cooldown, and when you see that Kiriko TP, everyone has to turn towards that support. That is target number 1 in those moments. So I'm already seeing ROCStars have good comms, and things are gonna get hectic in those moments.
They are. The fact that you can kind of keep your cool and still maintain the composure of marking all of those things, it really does mean good things for ROCStars. There were so many amazing moments in this even first map too. Not only were each of these rounds very close and very competitive, but you also saw bright moments in the coordination from both teams. I think like the Oi beat. I'm still not entirely sure what happened to it, to be quite honest with you. But like, that's another thing where maybe if that goes off, that map ends differently than what it does, you know?
Yeah, China being able to pulse that is huge, and it still went the distance. And TVNT and Crocs, I honestly just want to put them in a 1v1 cage match. Like, no MAGA involved, just let them go at it. Because it's like, everyone else is an observer, and Crocs and TVNT are just crazy, just so aggressive. Which is sometimes has costed, you know, eggs or Skyle to be killed, like in this moment, where Crocs then ignores TVNT and just walks to the backline. Can't let that happen.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was like the Winston dives that was all about trading the backline, but I think it's actually just the Orissas walking past each other, Spider-Man pointing, and then going and killing the backline instead. Like, look how close it is! It does not get any closer than this, and between these two teams, and that makes me so excited to actually see how this match is going to conclude.
Yeah, China diffed Gucci by around 2k damage, so Deimpero with the W in the Tracer department. When it came to the Cass versus Sojourner, that matchup, a very, very close. Rojo diffed by 1k, and having very similar deaths, so that's a W in the ROCStars camp for the range DPS, very similar tank deaths, so this series really can go the distance. Yes, Deimpero maybe won it more one-sidedly the last time they faced, but this is a whole new ball game, and there's a lot more stakes at hand.
One goes to the main event, one goes home. Does not get any more high stakes than that, except maybe when we get to the main event, and then I don't know, we'll get there when we get there. One of these teams will. But Eichenwald, coming up next, we have seen Orisa played here more often than not, and I think when we look at the rosters for both of these teams and what they have had a tendency to play, makes sense that we're going to continue to see the Orisa here. I don't think we'll see any deviations from this.
Alright, do a dance. Team huddle.
Come on and dance.
Oh, the Lys Seraphim dance is so good too.
It's so good.
And I found out that they actually do the dance in their song too, which just makes that emo even more special for me. So
yeah,
ROCStars on the defense, see if they can dance away to another victory. And starting off on defense is always less pressure on your shoulders. Deimpero with the quick fake, left to right. back to left. And ROCStars are so aggressive, they're just, okay, we're gonna come to you. We're tired of this game. And TVNT just runs after them and then leaves his backline out to dry. Skyle can't be the first one dying. Immortality has to be used. Somebody needs to help the ROCStars backline.
Well, that's the issue sometimes of running the Baptiste and the Cassidy is they're so static. If you leave them alone, they don't have the same amount of mobility as the rest of the team has, especially if Oi is going to be there to speed the Orisa around. And you saw that in firsthand how the team got split up, and then Oi couldn't go back there to peel. So Deimperos with something like the Kiriko steps over, maybe get a couple kunais, and that could be it. So really quick take there by Deimperos. They get the jump on ROCStars, and maybe now vice versa?
Crocs almost just gave him the Simba of just holding TVNT up in the air and getting ready to
This could be yours, but it won't be.
Simba. But Deimperos,
like Scar.
They're gonna chase after them. Oh yeah, Scar, true. We're trying to go up to the high ground now. This is a very fun game of Ring Around the Rosie, as you guys have noticed through the start of Eichenwald. Deimperos, no, well, the high ground's nice, but having the card is nicer. That's what actually wins you the game. So they have to drop in. ROCStars get caught out in the open. And Deimperos just have to take advantage of this moment now that there's no Tracer. China can go on a flank. It is scary to go past this archway, but still, Deimperos should be able to get some progress very soon. This Terror Surge could catch a Cassidy, and it gets even more than that. Crocs with a huge double kill.
That's huge. I mean, it opens up the fight in such a big way, too. We don't necessarily get a chance to see those Terror Surge have that many kills attached to them when they're used, but Deimperos turned a single Terror Surge into a full team fight win, and now they have everything else in the bank for this next fight. They've got to give up the card a little bit, though. They don't necessarily want to lose positioning, so they're gonna try to wrap around this castle, maybe try to take the high ground away from ROCStars who've beaten them there, or they could just wrap around, too. But look at this, how much distance both of these teams want to keep it between each other, so they can use those spears to the biggest advantage.
Oh, Kitsune Rush from Egg, Sound Barrier first from Deimperos, and Aoi with the Sound Barrier second. ROCStars have that advantage and pulls from Rojo, who rolls into his own team. He doesn't end up dying. Maybe there's an immortality, I don't know, but that was hectic. Gucci, though, has been let loose, and he gets to get a 3K at the end of that fight.
All right, the tables have turned. Gucci and China being able to play both of these matchups, I think it's really interesting to see how the Kiriko affects all of that. The Kiriko provides the Suzu not only to be able to engage a pulse bomb, but also to be able to switch up over to the Tracer if you want to. But the Cassidy mag grenades also play a factor. So it's going to be difficult for both Gucci and China to find that same individual value.
Oh my god, TVNT red. Oh! X said, get down, Mr. President. He just ate the spear for Kyo, who the Deadeye was cute and all, but TVNT, quite literally being a human bulldozer, is even better. So that'll be a good stop for ROCStars. In a second, once TVNT gets up there.
They're still pushing.
TVNT's gonna just 1v5, I guess.
Alright, give the ace, give the ace, give the ace.
Get the ace.
Ace?
Skyle, don't steal it.
Skyle, come on now.
Oh, you too? Oh, now we're getting more than an ace.
Oh, wait, no, back out, back out, back out.
Go, 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 go.
TVNT's so greedy.
It's crazy for just javelin spinning into
So greedy.
You think it's this big bait for the Terror Surge, but Deimperos were not ready for all that smoke, so.
Oh, goodbye.
Okay.
Okay, that's not BM, that's tactical.
Shio wants to also jump off the map. Didn't want to give the kill over, but unlucky.
Did anyway. He landed on the pavement, so, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
L plus ratio yourself better, honestly. But hey, ROCStars, they've put up a great defense now. Deimperos, they had won that first round so fast that they had like 5 minutes of the time bank entering into the second point. So already so much time back. Deimperos may be able to get the better of them now, but ROCStars, they can conserve ultimates here and then come back for the final contest on this point.
Yeah, Deimperos win that, but Gucci's like, I got my one. I won the Tracer duel against China. I'm not the problem. Crocs could have brought that pulse bomb somewhere, but thank God for eggs. With the Suzu, Rox will have a re-engage. There's only 4 there. Okay, there's Gucci. Deadeye from Rojo gets speared by Crocs, and Chef has the Sound Bear and the Kitsune Rush. Rockstars are trying to match it as best as they can, and no, that spear. Did it catch Kyo? It might have. Rockstars can also use the cover of the cart, and they don't want to hide. They actually want to hunt. So Deimperos better respect that.
They have to back out because they are hoping to take an eco fight here. They still have one more attempt at being able to finish up the second point. And Rockstars used everything else in that last fight outside of this Terra Surge. But Deimperos, they are biding their time and almost wasting it as they wait for the rest of their team to come back. But with 33 seconds left, they're gonna have to engage on this one, but Crocs is so low!
Oh, big Terra Surge. Deimperos losing China. Gucci can be on the flank. And it's evened up 4v4, but a Terra Surge comes out of Crocs, and Rox will just reestablish themselves on the car. Deimperos have been trying their best in terms of macro and sometimes losing the backline and getting separated from each other, but Crocs is trying to fire back and leads everybody up as much as they can against the wall. But Rockstars had a flank pull, so Deimperos started to get pretty injured. This is last fight for the push of Deimperos, and the Kitsune Rush left behind helped out China get the 2K and maybe almost cap. Once AoE dies, guys, AoE is gonna die, right? The boop displays Deimperos, so this is now winnable. Sky's Immortality lived way longer than it should have, and Chef got away with the Sound Bear. AoE died before his could come out, so that Sound Bear gave Deimperos the edge to win point B.
The most insane clutch? It looked like they had misstepped on the castle. Everybody got so low. Crocs was almost about to get taken down, and then you still had that 4v4. But China had such an impact in that last fight, as did Kyo, just to be able to bully away the Baptiste on the high ground, actually just bully their way through with raw damage. And, you know, Crocs' Doomfist coming in clutch as well. It's going to be a switch back, though, to the tried and true Aristas for this map, but Deimperos buying themselves an extra minute is huge. And another point.
Oh, Deimperos, yeah, don't have a lot of time, but maybe no, glass half full. At least you capped point B. And whatever you get out of here is just bonus. Girl math, I guess. Boy math, I don't know. But Sound Barrier from Rockstars. Now they get to take over the fight. China gets checked on his flank before he could even get set up. And Deimperos just gonna die as a squad. So good hold by Rockstars.
Super good, and now Deimperos only have one more chance. The cart has still gone farther than what it looked like it was going to, so Deimperos are walking away winners in that regard, but they still have one more shot. EGS is so low, though, because Rockstars are chasing these picks. With 15 seconds left, Deimperos may not get a shot at being able to approach this as a full team of 5, but the split pressure is working. Deimperos has to get to the cart, though, and it's going to be on China to proc that overtime.
China's half health and couldn't dip, dive, and dodge, and Chef couldn't make it there. And Crocs also ran down Rojo, so you thought Deimperos were in a great position to punish Rockstars for being too greedy, but then couldn't really race back to the cart in time. So, hey, getting halfway to point C is just bonus. This is a decent push out of Deimperos.
I think it could have gone even farther than that, though, had the overtime been activated, because you saw the Kitsune Rush happen right after that, and it would have been able to line up perfectly to take out Rockstars. But I think you still have that problem of Rockstars are the closer spawns, overtime, have to play on the point.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it goes how it goes, but otherwise, great push out of Deimperos and even better defense out of Rockstars to make it that close.
Goes how it goes. It is what it is. That's what I would be telling Deimperos. Like, hey, that is winnable. It is always winnable. And you hope that there's a good mentality there. Rockstars will be attacking first. Now that we're sticking with the Cassidys, you gotta be careful of your positioning. Again, the tumble is very short. Yes, there's damage reduction, but you still need to be watched out for. TVNT sometimes only sees red, only sees W on his keyboard. You gotta be careful for someone like Skyle.
Listen, if Tank actually had access to the S key, I think we just, yeah, you know, the Tank, just take that out. Take that off of your keyboard. But let's get a listen in on ROCStars to see how they're going to approach this first point.
Walk.
I don't have arm.
Walk left, okay?
We can walk, or...
No, push gas to left side, can you push left?
Yeah, I'm the 3.
One, push left.
Oh, he's pushing behind you, keep behind you. They're pushing me.
Kid, I got kid.
Or no gold, walk. Or no gold.
Push it,
Killer, push her.
Nice. Kid cast right side. Oh, push cast.
Tressa behind you, care.
Lucy behind. Turn.
Bra.
Let's go. Fucking pedophile, man.
It's okay, 3 point.
Okay, it's okay.
Or Rick here can maybe touch. No, they can't. Nice job.
Ja, det är för dem bra.
Wow, the target focus is really cool to see out of ROCStars. And what's important too is not just screaming out who is low, but really make sure the team is committed to that. You heard it towards Eggs and Crocs, and Skyle immediately turned his attention to Rojo too when he was low, so good comms.
Yeah, I think EMEA just also has a little bit of a leg up on an A. I think they just can speak more words per minute than the rest of the world. So, hey, listen, it works. It was very concise. It was very effective. And they get a chance to keep moving this cart forward as Deimperos gets set up on the high ground. Ton of time here for ROCStars to work with.
And staying composed too. ROCStars feeling confident, feeling calm. And Gucci just has to play a bit of dodgeball against bullets, just trying to move this cart across the bridge.
They've got so much free push.
Where's China? Like, China needs to contest that. That's literally his job, is to look at the other tracer. Where's China?
China's flanking.
Oh, there he is. Okay,
China's
now he's so late. He's so late to contest that, but it is what it is. Yeah, that's what I say to every mistake. But ROCStars lead now with a Deadeye Javelin spin to block the damage. Deimperos almost tossed up into the line of fire of that Deadeye. And Kyo exposed now, the nade catching him 5v4. And the Deimperos can't even play up this Kitsune rush. It feels like they're pushed off the high ground they were trying to set up on. So ROCStars took the space and they owned it.
The train hasn't stopped. The train has left the station and Deimperos is nowhere to be found. Even being able to hold the door here, TVNT is just going to keep Deimperos back. They might not even get a chance to really come out and contest if you're just going to sit there and spear spin in front of their faces.
There's no way.
That's
Where
point.
is China? Okay, give me $1 every time I say where is China. Because that is who should be contesting. You can't all come out through one door. That Orisa is a chunky horse that will body block the entire team, especially with the javelin spin. China needs to be coming out another doorway to contest, and now that's been capped. So, a lot of time for ROCStars.
I mean, Kyo comes in with a Deadeye to save the day, a two-player Deadeye, but ROCStars have 4.5 minutes to get this card around a corner. This should be their map. This should be theirs. They should have match point, and it might be now.
Yeah, 5v4 for ROCStars, big win for Gucci and the Tracer 1v1, and Crocs is just getting tossed. Boop from the front, Javelin in the back. Like, no fun allowed. And ROCStars with this fight win and all the progress that they have, actually. The box of victory is right there, and Deimperos were close to so many ults to have this whole fight turned around. It all came down to a Tracer 1v1L. And one last contest from Crocs, but Pulses are just better at a Gucci. ROCStars will very dominantly take Eichenwald and go to match point.
This has been night and day difference. I know we said that very first time that they met each other in the Swiss stage, it was a 2-0 for Deimperos, and I think everybody had Deimperos rated more highly on their list of EMEA teams than ROCStars. But they've listened to all that feedback. ROCStars are like, absolutely not. We're here to be able to turn and rewrite that script, and they are staring down the barrel of doing just that, Jen. 2-0 so far, one more map for them, and they're heading on to the main event.
And we heard it from their comms check that ROCStars just look so coordinated on their pushes. That's how they took the point so fast. There was so unnecessary but also very necessary push out of ROCStars when Gucci got to sit on the cart, go uncontested, get uncontested progress, leaving ROCStars to only have to win one fight for point B.
That's crazy.
Which ended up being, in my opinion, a Tracer C9 to have that capped in front of them when all 5 of them were alive. That was definitely touchable, but you can't just all come out one doorway. So that fumble led into pretty much an unstoppable force of ROCStars getting 5 minutes for point C or something crazy, and when the box of victory is halfway there, it's just a matter of time. But then there wasn't even one defensive hold when Gucci wins the Tracer 1v1.
Yeah, like on that defense, Deimperos won what, 2 fights, and just the card never stopped pushing. I think that speaks volumes to just how momentum-based ROCStars has really played this map. They're feeling themselves as well. You heard those comms going off in the comm check. Yeah. Like, they really understand how to be able to play against this team, and it's very clear that they've put in a ton of practice between this last week in order to make these big changes. Because I think that was the big difference. This patch has nothing to do with how this team is functioning right now. In fact, we haven't seen many teams actually play around those patch changes, if at all. And instead of our wrecking ball friend, but hey, I think that's great. It's all about team coordination and team synergy, and how better are you going to find that than playing scrims?
Damage quite close, but like I've said in the past, it's all about focus fire, and ROCStars just having a better job at that. And this is a meta where investing in your tracers is everything. They could be the make or break of these fights. But less about the pulse bombs, right? Because Suzus and Immortalities can negate through ideally most of that. But it's your flank pressure, it's your presence on the card, it's how you're pushing the bot on push maps. The Tracer has such a huge role on these objective maps, and even Gucci and China had similar damage, if not almost the same, but it was how Gucci was playing the map that was superior than China.
It felt like they were taking 2 different approaches, right? China having to play a little bit more with the team versus actually going and checking. Gucci that was just pushing the cart and actually going off and trying to be a little bit more self-sufficient. It comes down to as well being able to have something like the Kiriko behind you versus something like that Baptiste. And so that does play a little bit different. But heading into our 3rd map and potentially the final map of this series, we're going to Colosseo. We've seen Cassidy so far for the most part out of both Kyo and Rojo, but when it comes to playing on Colosseo, you have better high ground to play around and also just longer sightlines. So it feels like the Sojourn is what we see here more often than not to take advantage of those features.
I wonder if we're still going to get Cassidy's here. This neutral point is very long range, so we've seen all the range DPS on here, even Hans are golfing. So Sojourn's
so long ago.
I know. And Orissa's the flavor for this map. And I'm wondering how Rojo and Kyo are going to face off now that it may be more up to them to determine how these fights will swing off of. A lot of the time we're staring at each other very lovingly until a Sojourn kills something.
And the Sojourn railgun charge shots are not necessarily the most reliable. You have one chance, and it's supposed to be a big snipe shot. And not even actually a one-shot anymore, thanks to a couple of patches ago for a lot of these heroes getting just a bit of extra health. So you've got to hit your shot, and then you also have to have the follow-up. So Rojo and Gucci, likewise China and Kyo playing together is going to be very important to follow up those big shots.
Yeah, just getting the stats now. China outdamaged Gucci by 50 damage. That's how close it was. Same thing with Kyo and Rojo. 100 damage is what separates the two. Rojo getting the edge there. So this is a DPS matchup that is so tight that it's all about focus fire and who can really follow up with these low HP targets. And the deaths are the biggest stat differences, but for now Deimperos in a less healthy position, and some initial bot progress from ROCStars, but Gucci gets the finish on the Crocs, who, yes, was low, but I didn't think in that much of a dangerous position. He didn't even get out of that closet area to get into a safer spot, so Eggs and Chef didn't realize that either, and that's what causes ROCStars to have the scales tilted in their favor.
You lose your main tank, it should be easy pickings for the rest of the squad. Still a little bit of contest coming through from China, but it just feels like a matter of time before Rojo's gonna get another charge shot. There you go, speak it into existence. And that's gonna have to be another backup from Deimpero as ROCStars starts to round this corner towards that first checkpoint.
Yeah, Keo needed more help holding that corner. That's the power position for Sojourns and should have given him the edge against Rojo, but the rest of Deimpero rotated away, and Rojo is still catching Keo. Just catching strays for no reason. Deimpero are not caring about Keo at all, and Rojo is insane. He just got 3 for that fight, looking for the ace, and this has been an unstoppable push.
This is going to be checkpoint. It's just checkpoint, it's just forward spawns. We still have 7.5 minutes left of this map. And if they keep up this pace, it really could be a full cap. They're gonna back up though. They don't want to give up too much pressure. And look at this, they're waiting for them underneath the bridge.
Oh, the TVNT managing to escape, so does his Tracer. They're gonna bring it back to a neutral point, and this is a point at 62 meters where ROCStars can just play to kill every fight out of Deimpero. Good luck though, because they got 5 ultimates, ROCStars with 4. Kitsune rush advantage for Deimpero. Overclock gonna come out, but ROCStars can't hide away from this, and maybe that's the intention. I mean, the intention is to kill, sure, but getting free progress on the bot is always welcome. Now Sound Barrier re-engage out of ROCStars. Once that overclock is gone, forces the jump out of Keo. Sound Barrier from Chef. He got tossed up by the Orisa. That could have been canceled. Good for him though, that Deimpero benefited from the overhealth, and then EGS Kitsune rush helps to propel the team to a victory that they desperately needed to catch up in the score.
Good awareness from ROCStars to back away from the objective before they captured it, even though it looks like, yeah, you maybe should have gone for that checkpoint. They didn't want to get caught with their pants down. Deimpero, though, with that ultimate advantage, were able to get back that territorial control, go ahead and take a better position at the end of that straightaway so that they could try to get some progress. But once again, now it's their turn to have the awareness to back away when ROCStars are coming back with ults.
Oh, Skyle used Suzu, so trying to win for Pulse, and Rojo turned and headshot him. Rojo is different. PC check on aisle 4. What the heck is this Sojourn player? You know, I gassed him up in the pre-show, and I caster blessed him, so you're welcome, everyone.
And I'm caster cursing, and we might actually see a 3-0 for ROCStars. So, hey, it's looking good so far. I mean, now we should be able to get the checkpoint. Nobody can come in and touch it unless it's going to be China right in the nick of time, but it has to back away because the rest of the fight is happening up here.
Oh boy, ROCStars can increase this lead even more. Once Butt Scratch is all done, this is a pause. Gucci and China will face off for bot control. ROCStars are around the corner though, and Deimpero have Crocs on the flank. Manages to spear Skyle, get the teleport out. Everyone has to converge onto Skyle, and ROCStars are in a painful position. And it was a great play call by Crocs. Deimpero are not in the most healthy position either, but ROCStars couldn't get the finish on these targets, so it will only be a rounded up 70-meter push out of ROCStars, and Deimpero are going to try to match.
Still a nice push, so we have that. ROCStars though, like they got the checkpoint, so they're happy. Now they also have a bit of a lead that they're creating. When we have less than 5 minutes left of this map, all they have to do is play keep away. But Deimpero are back in this position where they have the ultimate advantage heading into this next fight, and this may be what helps them break through the barrier to get started on their own push towards that first checkpoint. 5 ults, actually.
They're stuck at this pillars, and who's contesting is TVNT, and they're more worried about killing the DPS behind and worrying about TVNT later. And oh, someone ducked in time because Keo's overclock would have claimed and given a haircut for free to ROCStars. For now, Keo did force ROCStars to go into cover. Crocs is being aggressive, got the sound barrier almost too late from Chef. Pulse from Gucci and the Terra Surge, just trying to chunk through that overhealth, and Gucci on the flank is on the hunt. Deimpero with the Kitsune rush. Crocs tried to pop the Terra Surge for some fortify and for some cope maybe, but the real cope is Deimpero not able to continue that push. Still less than 4 minutes though.
Yeah, you still have some time in the bank, and you did force out every ultimate from Deimpero's pocket, but, like, that's the problem. You know, like, even though we still have 3.5 minutes here for Deimpero to try to make this push, like, what do they have? It's all now on ROCStars to continue to extend this lead, or maybe even, like, not even worry about that. Just say, we get to fight over this midpoint, keep these fights really long and really contested, so that we can set up our Sojourns.
Yeah, how can you set up Rojo and Kyo for success? Rojo looks like he's kind of dominating that Sojourn match. I want to see Kyo step up to this. Rojo's got the overclock and Kyo just jumps out. Mad respect. I wouldn't want to challenge Rojo either. He was an absolute menace in the Saudi E-League and will continue to be so. Apparently he's on the flank and ROCStars pushing from the front. It's almost a little too chaotic for ROCStars to deal with. Already one of their flankers got shut down. Gucci is gone. Bigger dent into Deimpero though, as ROCStars will just make sure the bot doesn't go anywhere.
China doing a good job of being able to wrestle the bot away from ROCStars, even if for just a little bit. Buy some time for the rest of Deimpero to come back, and that's a huge pick onto TVNT. So ROCStars, they've got it back up, and now Deimpero are able to take back a bit more area control. Setting up Kyo, try to get this overclock online. Maybe even China to get into the back. You can see him sneaking back there to see if maybe a sneaky pulse bomb.
Okay, okay, got the Suzu out, and there it is!
Huge!
Right off the Skyle! Great patience out of China, and he needs help up here though, and Kyo maybe wanted to assist, and he gets taken out. China has to disappear into the shadows, and he had such an impact play at the start, but Deimpero didn't have the best of follow-up, so the numbers are pretty even. Deimpero though have the advantage of a later Kitsune rush out of EGS, so that's how ROCStars are getting diffed at the moment, but EGS losing that to Gucci means Deimpero don't have any heals, and ROCStars turn that fight completely around.
Later, Kitsune Rush, but an even better support ultimate in the sound barrier to come in and give that overhealth to ROCStars to finish up the job. So now, sub 1.5 minute territory, ROCStars have already pushed it back to the checkpoint. They can play around this high ground, and Deimpero now, like, realistically have to win maybe 2.5 team fights in a row. But ROCStars, like, now sub 1 minute, they can draw out the clock, they can really elongate the pace of this fight and really put Deimpero back up against the wall.
Yeah, Q, I know it's so difficult playing on the low ground against ROCStars who are going to be on the high ground here in a second, but some Sojourns, they will jump up there and will do the best that they can to at least deliver on a kill, even if it means dying in the process. Crocs with the Terror Surge pulls in ROCStars from their hidey holes, and Deimpero will just work all together on those picks. So a great team kill. This will get them the forward checkpoint, but 30 seconds, Deimpero have to have the push of a lifetime to win this.
They've got to be perfect. This is the one team fight gotten out of the way. Now they got to win out the second one. They're not going to have time to get this checkpoint before the team is able to come back. And ROCStars are coming back swinging. Going to have this Kitsune rush up quickly, but it's about the sound barrier. If Oi can get this online by the end of this fight, it's over. ROCStars will win this map.
Oh, a stick!
Big!
Rojo! Huge for Deimpero in a 5 versus 4. And at least you still have bot control. ROCStars tried to steal it away. TVNT against Kyo though. Numbers 4v4. But Crocs is pushing them on the low ground. ROCStars are split up from each other and trying to find each other using the Kitsune rush of Skyle, but it's too little too late. Deimpero with a huge comeback. The finish line in their sights. ROCStars will do their best with this one advantage that they have in the AOA sound barrier, but Deimpero clutched up when it matters. Gucci with 2 is the last threat along with AOE, and this is not over yet. Deimpero are losing this. China is 1 HP, 1 backhand to roll them all, and it's Gucci that comes out on top. ROCStars could thank Gucci for saving this, but Kyo was back in time. It's a 1 versus 2. ROCStars need to depend on TVNT, a teleport from Skyle. The numbers back in favor of ROCStars who have the closer respawns. Deimpero could win it here if they can hold on this 2v1. One last touch from AOA, and this is an all-out scrap. Deimpero have done it. They'll send us to a map 4 unless Gucci can stop making me evaporate in my lungs. Okay, Deimpero, take Coliseo.
That That was so scrappy. Like you saw the panic pick comes through for both teams. You got the Doomfist on both sides. Honestly, there was a 2 versus 1. And every step of the way through those final moments, it looked so back and forth. And with a respawn advantage, one would think that if they're able to extend it long enough, then ROCStars would be able to take it and take the whole series. But no, we're going to go to New Junk City and potentially settle things there to see if maybe we start a reverse sweep here for Deimpero, or ROCStars can finally close it out.
I just need a water drink.
I know, you need a
after that.
second.
Both these teams need a second. What the heck was that last fight? First, you had a Doomfist swap out of Deimpero. If that didn't happen, I don't even know what the rollout is. I'll let a Doomfist expert measure that. But the Doomfist getting back in time versus the Soldier, maybe Rojo, which was a last-second swap from ROCStars to get back to the fight in time, to the Gucci versus China. That was insane. Even Rojo got back and almost flipped it all around. Gucci was the Tracer that even made that close, but in the end, Deimpero just had more numbers in the end, the 2 versus 1. All they have to do is deal with a Tracer, I think, so what a final fight for that.
It was so good. I want to give a huge shout out to Kyo too, with just these amazing overclock kills. I think Kyo and China, they really stepped it up in order to work together. And not only just the big flashy plays, but just to be able to actually secure those pincers and get those low health targets. You're gonna play No Fear sometimes with a Doomfist in your face.
And China stepped up in the stats department too. We got word from stats that China outdamaged Gucci by 1.1k, and that's starting to become very significant, especially, the pulses that he got in the clips that we just saw to extend that push to the forward checkpoint and to stay alive as long as he did against Gucci. But I want to hear how hectic these comms got at the end. Colosseo was a mess. Let's listen in.
Mela. Just Mela.
Nori. Oh.
You can win, you can win.
I'm picking up.
Kill them first. Come.
Carry not.
Keep touching, I can touch one.
Yeah.
I'm touching now. Kill it. Dead.
Like that.
Soldier. Dead.
Lucio. He's 1-on-1.
Dead.
Lucio. Nice.
Tracer touching here.
Treasure. Dead. 1-1, Nori.
Good job.
Nice. Good job.
They are way less excited than I was more excited than them watching. But they gotta stay calm. I think there was a mixed sense of, can we actually win this? And when someone died and had a zoom out view of, wait, this is winnable. Deimpero clutched up.
Yeah, they really did. And I think too, just having the wits to still call out, okay, it's not over yet. Tracer is still gonna come in and touch, but now Tracer doesn't have recall. We got this. Let's go.
Hipping heels,
Yeah.
big comms. Minus that, but hey, you gotta have trust in each other in that moment. Yeah, both teams actually swapped to Doomfist, not even just Deimpero, so that was insane. What a finish out of Deimpero to extend us to a 4th map, and we'll maybe settle this on New Junk City?
If you thought that the final moments of Colosseo were scrappy, get ready for our Flashpoint course. I feel like this is always even worse, just because it's constant action at any given moment. Gucci's off on a flank, by the way. Did you see that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Not with the team.
Very far away. Although, you have to just look at the Cassidy versus Sojourn. Kyo having more mobility, and now they'll have to assess maybe where Gucci went after all. I'm sure he's not the problem, but Rojo, Cassidy versus Kyo, Sojourn, that'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because I think Sojourn will have more advantage on specific points, maybe bomb flats when you have all of that, one of those big pillars to play around. The power slides can help you get those angles a little bit more effectively. But then when you're playing on those flashpoints like Refinery or Ducks, it's so much more in close space that. We'll see. I think that Cassidy just has a bit of a leg up there when it comes to those flashpoints, but.
Yeah, Cassidy will maybe have an easier time against the Tracer. I mean, both Sojourn and Cassidy have ways to deal with the Tracer, whether to just jump away nope for the best. I mean, Rojo was literally flicked and turned on to China. Like, Rojo does not care about Tracer flanks, and Kyo, well, he's had mixed reviews about Gucci in his in his experience, but we'll see if everyone's okay tech-wise before we get back into this, but maybe we could. I'm getting Game 5 vibes with how Deimpero are composed in these fights.
I am too. I really am. I think what's so exciting about these two teams is they were already really close in terms of the overall standings that they came into the group stage with. So hey, I'm always excited to be wrong and get a map 5 if that's what we're gonna be treated to, and we'll see if that can kind of keep a pace. Chef got taken out really early, and we saw maybe the flank from Gucci ended up being really good, but Crocs also got isolated as the Orisa split off from the team. Means it's a little bit easier pickings, and here we go. Yeah, Gucci went off on the flank to just go get the point, actually.
Oh, okay, good.
5 head.
Yeah. That first point is really annoying because it's right in the middle of all the action, and there's this tiny bit of cover, so that's all Tracers or Orisa sometimes, but it's really only one person. Even a Lucio could dance around there, so it's all about organizing who is contesting the point. ROCStars will be defending first, and Deimpero are gonna do this dance around this giant dome and see if the distance battle will favor them, and then eventually build up to an Ant Matrix, but so far Skyle is 4% away, much farther ahead than EGS, and ROCStars are setting up to have a good angle on this and try to surprise them, and Crocs isolated himself from the team, and this is not good. The immortality buys time. Yeah, he has a Terra Surge. Wait a minute.
Huh?
Wait a minute.
Crocs is based?
Wait, based and true?
Crocs based? No glaze. They're actually so good though. I'm also talking about the footwear, but yeah, hey, look. Crocs goes so low. Major credit to Chef and EGS to be able to keep him alive, because like I swear Crocs was at like 10 HP and a dream. So the vitality field came through, and then all of that burst healing, getting those 2 big picks as well. I mean, the Deimpero were able to take back control at this point. But ROCStars have 99% and the ults, but no Gucci.
No Gucci?
No Gucci.
And no targets? Rojo very sad about this. 99% for ROCStars though. They only need 1 to take this point and win it. AOA with the sound barrier, and I guess it doesn't matter when Deimpero is just gonna have superior poke. And then Crocs also helps them clutch in that last fight, which my jaw is still on the floor that Crocs lived and killed 2 when being by himself, but anyway.
It's the clutch of Deimpero. They know that they need to win this map in order to type the series. Atreus said to a map number 5, a shot. Gucci though, do they hear him? Do they scout him?
Do they know?
Does China know?
China's lacking the information. Gucci with the pulse kill with the Deadeye. Picks off AOA, and Deimpero are making the 0 to 100 comeback right now, and they got the sound barrier advantage too. 5 versus 3. It's in the bag. They get it done. Deimpero will win the first point.
Oh my gosh, I think like China maybe like heard you or something, giving all of that praise over to Gucci in the 3rd map and said, nah, I got this. I think what's interesting too is just how the Tracer has to play so differently with the Cassidy in the mix, because instead of trying to like set up on those flanks in order to finish up those picks that like the Sojourn is getting, you're also having to pressure down the backline a little bit more. There's no Kiriko to worry about. You're not gonna have to deal with those Suzus. It's about forcing out the immortality field, which is something that the Orisa and Cassidy can do, and then going in to get the cleanup.
Oh, Crocs, what are you up to? Terra Surge! Oh, Skyle with the immortality!
Crocs is real!
The damage was already done! Deimpero, just believe in whatever shenanigans Crocs wants to go for. When it's not an int, if all 5 of you are involved, it becomes a strategy.
Yeah, it's not stupid if it works.
Right?
I think. Because how that saying goes. But you gotta play with a little bit of that aggression. That's how the Orisas get in there and make these fights competitive. Just walk past the enemy Orisa, go after the backline. You see those targets, they're really low. Kyo's putting in the work. Oh, but now it's TVNT's turn.
No more fun for Crocs. And Skyle has been a target from the Deimperos side. And he's playing his life a lot better, trying to avoid getting speared and things like that. Speaking of spears, TVNT has gotten now back-to-back first picks, so ROCStars can use all the time they can get.
Buying themselves a little bit more time. The map is still long. We still can flourish with the rest of the flashpoints on New Junk City. But the Imperial are being sneaky. I think with the mag grenade though, they know that the Imperial are approaching from that point, so like they give up the sneakiness and I say let's go. ROCStars have 4 ults to throw at this, but Amp Matrix first from EGS.
EGS! Immortality! It's gone! Oh! And so is EGS, but at least China traded with Skyle. Not a lot of healing left, but Gucci is hitting all of his shots, and China's coming back to keep Gucci in check, but takes an L, takes a sit, and ROCStars close to taking the point.
Gonna tie it up. I don't think that Deimperos can come back and touch. And in fact, ROCStars are gonna just move away from the point, set up for the next flashpoint, knowing that Deimperos is just not there. So let's see where we're going next. Looks like we're going over to Refinery.
I love that for them. I love that this is tied 1-1 too. And look who's first. ROCStars win the race, therefore they win the point. I don't write the rules.
You don't write the script. You just speak into existence. But yeah, with the high noon too, I think like trading the Deadeyes here could be really important. ROCStars has a little bit less of an advantage in that regard because you can hit it and then keep Deimperos away. But
TVNT says my point. It's sound barrier and everything. Like, he fully charged that for what reason? Like, no one was there. Forced up the sound barrier out of AoE. ROCStar's trying to take angles. Now Rojo's unprotected, unattended, and Deimperos are winning on every front. So, I might have cursed this point. I might have.
Yeah. Which team gets there first and takes the point?
Yeah,
Anyway. It's the team that's Deadeyes. No, it's the Deadeye. The Deadeye is the difference. I'm just kidding. No, it was funny how like TVNT stick the claim, like the spear spin up top to charge the terror surge is like my flag is here. I am landed on the moon.
I've claimed this for ROCStars. This is not a conspiracy theory, but HES is dead, and Kyo's gonna die too. TVNT is really hitting these spears. I know we don't get insanely detailed stats, but his spear accuracy must be crazy. That one got 8, so that's not his fault. But TVNT starting to dominate on that front line.
Both of these Orissas have really hit their marks when it's come to these javelin tosses, and you have to, right? It's great to be able to stun an ultimate. You can push somebody really far back. It means that they're a bit more isolated, especially if you have like the Cassidy and the Bap on the flank or the Tracer. So it feels really good to be able to know that you can be consistent with those types of skill shots. Coming back into this though, ROCStars have built up a pretty considerable advantage when it comes down to being able to use this Amp Matrix first, keep Deimperos at bay, but EGS is going to have one to match that window.
Oh! I'm surprised Rojo's rolled away. I thought the Deadeye would have alphaed against the Amp, but I think it was about who had immortality, and Rojo did not believe. ROCStars not believing in this fight either, losing Rojo and Skyle so early. Great coordination out of Deimperos. They can find Gucci. There won't be a good person to stagger here at the end. Deimperos, see if they can take this.
I don't think there's a contest that can really come through here, especially if you're able to maybe get a boop away. ROCStars are trying, though. They're gonna have Lucio go in and touch, but it's so risky.
Yeah, I thought that was shocked once Gucci died for the contest, but anyway, good roll out. Rojo just in the middle between a horse and a hard place, and that's just not where he wants to be. Deimperos will now get the lead here on Flashpoint, and 1 point away from sending us to a Game 5.
TVNT used the Terror Surge there. It felt like such a lost fight after AOI got so low, didn't get the sound barrier up in time, which would have been just a huge benefit to have for that fight. But at the very least, you ROCStars get to come back as a full team of 5 to beat potentially Deimperos to the punch. Junkyard's up next. Tracer pulse bombs, you know the drill.
See if the Deimperos know the drill. Just follow the recipe from last point. Never mind. They've strayed away from it, putting their own flavor on. Not having a Baptiste is not going to taste good. Deimperos will have to back away, not having the heals for this. Just going to shoot at them at a distance. Just kind of bark at them from across the fence. But ROCStars will be getting the point first.
What kind of dogs do you think? You know how they say you've got that dog in them, but like,
yeah.
what kind of dog?
I think pit bulls with like ROCStars are giving pit bulls. Like,
Pit bull
I'm trying to
vibes.
perpetuate the stereotype of pit bulls being aggressive. Adopt your local pit bulls, y'all, and ROCStars still at this point pretty adopted right now. But Deimperos are flipping towards it. It doesn't matter because as Deimperos go for the point, ROCStars go for the kills. So far so good for them.
Yeah, nah, see, it doesn't matter the type of dog. They just got the dog in them. That's the main storyline we're going with. And they're really close to being able to tie up this map. Feels good. ROCStars still have this amplification matrix to work with, so if they want to buy themselves even more time, just pop the window as soon as Deimperos peek their heads out. Ooh, the high noon too! Just keep them from touching the points at all.
Rojo is different for holding that, believing in the immortality that there's a Orisa in his space that usually equals death. And ROCStars back each other up, and they'll be sending us to our final point of New Junk City. Will we be completing the series? Will ROCStars be going to the main event, or will Deimperos force a deciding map?
The call comes down to Ducks as the final flashpoint. Deimperos, they have a ton of things to work with to try to get this first. Amplification matrix right in their face, but you've got to isolate TVNT.
Oh my god, TVNT just ran into the matrix of Terror Surge to zone it off. And there's some pretty equal trades. Deimperos are still very uncomfortable. I mean, look at EGS. He wins that dance against TVNT with the assist of Kyo. Deimperos will be able to cap first, which is great for them. And they'll have ults to defend it too.
It's so aggressive. It's like, I see window, I just smash through window, and I come out the other side, and I still die anyway. But it was a good attempt. Deimperos, they thought about taking a brief switch over to the Moira, but I think the Baptiste, like, just stick to it. You can still come back with those moon boots and provide that value with the immortality field if you need it. And Deimperos, they're still in the driver's seat for this.
Okay, Deadeye. Get away from me. Oh, good javelin spin. TVNT will live on through that. Oh, Kyo. What got low, and ROCStars couldn't capitalize on that yet. And with EGS being first-blooded a few times in this fight, this sets Deimperos back. And maybe China can just go and contest the point just to extend the lead that you have and get it to ideally more than 70%. That would be good, and Crocs tried to do that. Here's China extending this. 75 plus means Deimperos are within one fight opportunity. But keep in mind, ROCStars can do that 0 to 100 comeback, and we even saw how possible that is on the first point of New Junk City. Well, ROCStars will have a lot of work ahead of them.
Look at that. Deimperos, they're already happy with being able to get that 94% because one more team fight win, this map is theirs. We extend this series to a map number 5, but ROCStars, they need to win 2 more fights here in order to finish out the job. First up is going to be the Deadeye. TVNT, though, playing with no fear. With his Terror Surge ready, you can force out the immortality field from EGS to make sure that that Terror Surge is going to be even more impactful, but you want to potentially play at just these close quarters. Deimperos know that this is ready, though, so they can't give TVNT too much space.
TVNT needs to hold that space for this Deadeye. Rojo is 100. Oh, he got pulled by the Terror Surge from Crocs, and that could have been awful. Deimperos with Pulse and Sound Barrier and more completely take over this fight. ROCStars, they could be reverse swept. They started off 2-0 in the series, and Deimperos just took Flashpoint. They send us to Game 5.
It's all coming up ROCStars at the very beginning of this series, but after a very hard-fought Coliseo and a very scrappy New Junk City, I can't believe we are at this point where we have a map 5 on our hands. I'm pumped.
I'm pumped. I could see that ROCStars don't look as comfortable as they did on previous maps, and we even heard maybe some, not mild arguing, but just like, we need to focus. And when that has to come out, there's distractions. And I could tell that ROCStars need to get Rojo and TVNT on the same wavelength of, if I go for Deadeye, Orisa needs to be in a healthy position, has to have the right cooldowns to protect you, because that's the person who is, because Deadeye puts you in the most vulnerable state in the game, so TVNT needs to have that dance between him and Rojo on how they hold space and when they give it up. And I was complimenting TVNT's spear accuracy, but Deimperos were just a better team unit. And it did come down to the final point, though, so I'm not going to discount the work that ROCStars did, but Deimperos are on a comeback.
I think you called out something really important, is that TVNT was playing so aggressive that it was something that Deimperos were really taking advantage of. There were a lot of times that TVNT got split up from the team, and Deimperos are just not a team that's going to let that go unpunished. If you aren't being able to follow up the aggression that your Orisa is putting down, then it does make it way more easy for like the Orisa to sort of body block the healing, or just like the rest of the team from being able to help you out. So yeah, I think Deimperos, they've gotten really wise to the antics that ROCStars want to get up to, and I don't know if it's going to maintain in this 5th map.
You just heard from our stats team, Rojo is doubling the deaths of Kyo. And I felt like Rojo was coming into this with such an edge against Kyo in terms of experience and mechanics that I've seen in the past, but Rojo started off fire hot, and that's starting to diminish, and Kyo is picking things up. They have pretty similar damage. Kyo has the edge by about 1k. China and Gucci is winning by about 200 damage, so very, very close. EGS versus Skyle is a surprising diff. EGS is out damaging on Baptiste by 2k. The deaths, though, EGS and Skyle have been in painful positions due to their aggressive Orisas, but this is where Deimperos are improving as the series goes on, and despite playing from an O2 position, they're not looking like they're playing from an O2 position.
No, it's all about that team synergy, right? And here's where you can really see those differences outlined and sort of just like the KD between Kyo and Rojo on the Cassidy. And when it comes down to like looking forward to what we have ahead of us for our map 5, we need to continue to see just this incredible play coming through from the Cassidy for Shambali Monastery. But this one's tough, right? Shambali Monastery is very defensively favored. So I think it's going to be Deimperos that's up to defense first, if I'm not mistaken. And so they have an opportunity here to shut out ROCStars if they can just get the full hold.
I'm imagining we go to Ramatras, but Orisa's playable, Sigma's playable, and if we If we shift to different tanks, the Ramatra helps when you're an aggressive Orisa. Sigma, you want to measure that a bit better. And just noticing that Rojo is doubling Kyo's deaths is, yes, it's on Rojo, but it's also on TVNT. And just to reiterate that TVNT and Rojo really have to communicate well with each other on what space they're taking, holding, and giving up. Because if there's a desync even for 1 second, using Cassidy's tumble cooldown, or going for a Deadeye, or using Javelin Spin and needing to go for a push, any desyncs can cause ROCStars to fall in fights, and this is their last chance to kind of clean that up.
Yeah, it really does come down to this. So Deimperos coming out of the gates with this Orisa composition on the defense, so Crocs and Kyo, they get a chance to set up on the high ground, maybe play a little bit with Kyo and EGS being able to play kind of around those walls. What I'm really interested about is that this team doesn't want to take this close hold, because usually we will see even like a Ramatra composition come up and try to get the close hold here, but if you're playing the Orisa, you want to win the poke war. So they are going to play on this high ground instead, but that does mean they only have 2 opportunities to contest, rather than 3 if you have that close hold.
You see China ready on the right side. Can go through that building, go on the flank. For now, Gucci's trying to get progress, and Gucci's overstayed as well, because ROCStars didn't get around to the hallway to be a distraction in time. And Gucci may have costed that in that moment, but it's a great retaliation from Deimperos to not only take care of the Tracer pushing the cart, but to push into the rest of ROCStars in that moment.
They have to give it up a little bit, but like, there's still no progress from ROCStars. They have to wait. I feel like, Rojo's playing so aggressive, just sitting there trying to get the shots with the Cassidy. I feel like it's so tough if you don't have your tank in front of you, but Rojo really is sort of leading the charge to try to get the poke damage.
Doing the best that they can. ROCStars start to sit up on the high ground, and TVNT gets shot in the back. So
Isolated.
Can't happen. Yeah, TVT is being aggressive, and ROCStars thought they had a handle on this, but you can't see what's behind TVNT because he's in a room, and ROCStars couldn't help that. So half the time bank almost gone, and not really much progress.
Yeah, see, like, that's a great example of TVNT just going in too aggressively without the rest of the team for backup, and then Deimperos completely shutting him off, isolating him, and taking him out. ROCStars are going to take this same approach up these stairs, and there's even a little bit of a high ground advantage for Deimperos as they start to shoot down the barrel of this ant matrix.
Wait, Crocs! Oh my god, the Crocstar! That's what I'm gonna call him! The Terror Surge! I mean, you should rename the team at that point. He pulls a Terror Surge to pull ROCStars out of that cover! Huge ult!
Pulls him out of the cover and then alleviates the opportunity to actually use that amplification matrix that Skyle had placed down as well. Now it comes down to these sound barriers. We're still taking these fights relatively quickly, so ROCStars has a lot of time left to work with. But the Deadeye is just a zoning ultimate at this point. He even gets speared out of it before he can hit those shots. And finally, maybe a bit of progress on the board here for ROCStars.
China and friends finding themselves behind the cart. And ROCStars have a good angle to play, and ROCStars will also have a better access to this high ground. And you see China's trying to contest that as best as they can, not wanting to give Rojo a power position, but Rojo is playing next to TVNT, who's trying to be out aggro with the Terra Surge. TVNT doesn't want to go for it, but now the Crocs is low! Gets hit by the pulse, Immortality's out by EGS, forces out the barrier of Chef 2, and Deimperos, through all of those resources, couldn't sustain through this fight. It is only 4 versus 3 for ROCStars, but with Gucci on fire and everyone feeling good, ROCStars will still get progress.
They get progress, but they're running out of time. It's going to be sub 1 minute, and Deimperos still have a chance to come back in and recontest this before they get that first checkpoint. And it's going to be Crocs just kind of taking this high ground, and take a look at the drop that they're able to get to. Keo can use this Deadeye, and in this tiny room, well, he's got to get in the fight.
If you use Deadeye, it's like the come look at me ult, and oh my god, just look what happened. He said, everybody look at me, and Rose shot him in the face. So, ROCStars, meters away. Once you deal with Crocs, this should be over. But the Ant Matrix from EGS made that a problem, and now that that's over, Crocs is not getting as much help. The Terror Surge was cute, but ROCStars capping the point is cuter. With 8 seconds left, less cute, but still, the job done.
The job done, and that was the hardest part. Getting past that very first chokehold on this first point, and now they've bought themselves some extra time. While it's not a lot, who cares, right? Because this is still a very defensively favored map. You should be able to get the second checkpoint, but it's about being able to make your way into the third if you can, and also having to traverse this wide open space. It's not easy.
Okay, Crocs, but it's just running into the backline solo. Gucci will push the cart, and that means China gets free reign to throw pulse bombs. And ROCStars now, Gucci is last in the Death Note list. Less than 2 minutes left, and ROCStars probably should have just converged as 5 there, and then go for the cart push.
Maybe?
Sorry, I posed that as a question, but it was like a...
I know. I was like, how do I actually answer this without feeling like I'm like, you know, being rude. Anyway, here we go again. ROCStars, making another approach with a minute and a half left. You have the Pulse Bomb, maybe Terror Surge combo to try to attack this wide open space.
Okay, ROCStars have to face down the barrel of an Ant Matrix. Skyle tries to place his zone, and the Terror Surge from TVNT to zone them off. The EGS Ant Matrix was a solid play. Sound Bear from AOA to help ROCStars break out of this nest, and TVNT couldn't get to safety in time because Chef countered with an even better barrier, so Deimperos just had an answer to everything.
Yeah, these beats have been really good, and even looking at that defense, I think if they had used their ultimates in a different time on that first point, maybe we wouldn't even be here. But ROCStars are still doing great work with the extra life that they were given, but now this is where the going gets really tough, because ROCStars heading into this next fight, they're really worried about getting something online, just even withstanding the Terror Surge and the Pulse Bomb that Deimpero are sitting on. No sound barrier for that means that they just have to sustain with just raw healing, and it might be very difficult depending on if they can actually get this immortality field out.
With the raw healing, how are you gonna do this? Terra Surge, Crocs hiding, waiting for a surprise opportunity to javelin spin in if needed, but knows he just needs to be a consistent anchor. You gotta measure that aggression. ROCStars don't have Rojo! Keo! There's just one cowboy left in this town, and an immortality from EGS to save Keo in that moment. What a play, and what a team! Deimpero will close out this offense for ROCStars halfway to point B, and up next it'll be their turn to see who moves on to the main event.
It's still not over yet. ROCStars, up on the defense, have a chance to be able to get that full hold that Deimpero were looking for in that first point. But it all starts with that first win. If they're able to get their first win on that first corner, then you're feeling really good about their chances to actually do that. But this is coming down to the wire, Jen. I still don't know who's gonna take this.
Keo versus Rojo, China versus Gucci. And Keo stepped up massively on Coliseo and did so in the final moments of that fight. Whoever took that fight was going to get point B or a defensive stop, and Keo really showed up. And ROCStars need to show up or show themselves out, because they did a very good job at the start of this series. Very, very commanding on Iconfall. But where is that fire from ROCStars? Kind of needing to face their mistakes head on in the heat of the moment, in the heat of the series, and maybe starting to crumble under pressure.
Well, here's one way that they can prove themselves. It's going to be a close hold with this Ramatra composition on their defense hold. So it's either gonna work or it's not. This is very all in the basket here for ROCStars to try to get this very first defensive hold. Maybe this will allow TVNT to try to play a little bit better with the team, but can Deimpero break it? It all comes down to this first fight. So let's hear what Deimpero are gonna do about it.
Alright. Yeah, I think right. Go.
You can
There's him or no?
No.
Wait, I'm going side.
Yes, that's good.
Shoot. I'm going. Back.
Yeah, we can take first shot if you want.
Nice. Let's show. I'm on bap. Exit.
I can buff. Jumping.
I'm ram. Nice. They're panicking, guys. We got in the brain.
Pick out.
Oh, the mind games! Deimpero know they're tilted! Oh, the reverse sweep, Necro. Oh my god. It could happen.
It really could happen. Look at that. TVNT giving the Ramatra already to switch over to the Orisa. And that's what I mean about this all eggs in one basket. You're giving up that progress from the Ramatra, having to switch over to another tank, rechange up how you're going to approach this match. And Deimpero, they're already got the upper hand in terms of building up to these ultimates.
You started to see the weaknesses out of ROCStars when Rojo had double of Keo's deaths. That's so uncharacteristic for Rojo to be put in those positions, and he's scaling back, trying to play safe and away from Deimpero, away from any spears from Crocs. Now the Matrix can hose down ROCStars, forces them into cover. Immortality from Sky, but he had to sacrifice himself to place that down to save his team. And ROCStars don't have a great healer without him. So ROCStars are gonna try and die as a team, but with the progress Deimpero made, I don't know if there's a recontest.
There's not. You can't. Not without the Lucio there to speed through the team, and you're not going to be able to get there as a full team of 5. So ROCStars, they have 2 more chances at being able to stop this cart, and they're standing up against a 4.5-minute time bank and 4 ultimates out of Deimpero, and Rojo's down again.
Rojo, there's nothing he can do. He's just trying to play the game, and he's getting speared and shot at. Deimpero at least forced the retreat out of ROCStars. One final fight to determine who is going to the main event, and Deimpero have all the time in the world.
That's the huge issue with that being such an early pick. ROCStars, they don't have a choice here except to try to take this in Deimperos territory.
Oh, a dead eye from Rojo. He got speared by Crocs. Where's the protection from TVNT? Well, there's a protection of the sound bear for the moment as Gucci heads for the flank, forced out the immortality out of EGS. He's in trouble. He's been stunned, and there is the finish that ROCStars needed. Main healer from Deimperos gone, but Crocs and friends are still doing significant damage to ROCStars, but all they have to do is play back, and Rojo gets slapped around by a Lucio of all things. But Deimperos have already disengaged. They know they have plenty of time. They can take this one step at a time.
Now you can see where Rojo is having all these problems, because Crocs and Chef are just saying, oh, we're gonna go after you. So go help your Cassidy, or just leave him alone and come deal with us in the front line. Deimperos, they have ROCStars' number right now, and they are right at the cusp of being able to get this golden box of victory.
Oh, wait, Sky's in trouble! Crocs is gonna kill him! You can't let that happen! TVNT fumbled and let his backline die! There is no one left to heal this team! ROCStars! Oh, the glimmer was there, but it dies out at the end! Deimperos will have the reverse sweep once the pause is undone. Somebody left. ROCStars are tilted. The series is done. Deimperos, what a comeback!
That's a huge comeback. ROCStars being able to get those first 2 map wins, it felt so winnable. Listening to their comms on Eichenwald, you could hear it. They were locked in, they were ready, they had the communication and the synergy down, but then something happened on Colosseo to change the tides. And you heard it from Deimperos at the very beginning of their attack push. We're in their brains. They have tilted them, and they took full advantage of that.
Not even waiting for the winner's screen is not able to face defeat like that is tough, because it hurts so much more when the defeat comes from within. Something happened within ROCStars that made it so they knew they couldn't play at their peak anymore. Something was preventing that, and so what a series this ended up to be.
Honestly, though, I was a little, I don't want to say disappointed, but like, you know, a little worried that we're going to look down the barrel of a 3-0 here. However, Deimperos brought it back, and it was honestly, I think, the biggest joy to watch those, the ebb and flow of the individual matchups. Rojo versus Kyo, Gucci versus China, TVNT versus Crocs. Throughout the series, you saw the ebb and flow of those kind of individual matchups. You know, you mentioned Rojo obviously heading into this series. We had our eyes set on this Star Cassidy player. But then we saw Kyo stepping it up as the series went along, and it just kept on happening in each and every single individual position of both of those teams.
Well, you can see what was happening, right? Like, that's why Rojo was carrying, and so TVNT, they had kind of left him on his own, and so Crocs and Chef were like, okay, we're just gonna go after it. You know, whether it's gonna be isolating TVNT or isolating Rojo, they knew that like that was gonna be a win condition for them. Get the main tank out of the way, or get a main source of damage.
What an upset. Another upset. And we had already hinted that when Ex-Oblivione didn't make the main event yesterday, ROCStars got top 8 last time. Yes, under the banner of Rock Esports and with Checkmate and whatnot, Izayaki. But this roster still was very capable of making the main event. But mental is the thing that will crush your team, and it's not just about mechanics. It's not just about the work you do behind the scenes, but also on a personal level, how do you deal with losses? And Colosseo was so heartbreaking, not only for Rojo and how much work he did in that regard, but just for how they kind of choked at the end, and not being able to punish Crocs in this moment, and that fight got turned around. There were so many frustrating moments for ROCStars that they couldn't get over, apparently.
It's like you were right there. I can totally see where that tilt could have happened. Is like you were right there. You could have won, Coliseo, I felt like the win got taken from them almost with that Deimperos clutch, because they had the lead for most of Coliseo as well. Just being like letting it slip through your fingers like that, I wonder what the comms might have looked like in that moment to
it was those heroics,
lost
though.
that.
I mean, like on Coliseo especially, they did have the spawn advantage even, right? So it's gotta feel very devastating to lose that just based on heroics from individuals. And speaking of individuals, EGS getting themselves the player of the match in this one.
Yeah, in the damage department, he was doing really well, just consistent overall. He became more of a target of focus, but really in that last fight was whose backline was going to fall first with these aggressive Orissas. Me and Necker were talking time and time again. These Orissas were going to cost the fights. Either, I guess, make or break. I'll give them some credit that at some moments when you had a Donk Walk Orissa just go in, they would kill backlines and make work done. But for TVNT to leave his backline in the last fight, to get Skyle killed, it was unforgivable. That really costed that game 5, but that's where EGS was able to protect themselves better against aggressive Orissas on the other side.
Now back support too, I think. Like when you see like the backup there coming in for the aggressive plays from Crocs, it just makes it look that much better to actually go for those big aggressive plays. And I didn't think that TVNT was getting enough backup in order to try to do the same.
I'd actually love to listen into the winning comms here to hear how Deimperos got it done in the very end.
I got...
Behind!
I'm dead!
Behind! I'm low.
Oh, we saw!
Everyone.
Let's fucking go!
Nice, guys!
Fucking go, guys!
Let's go!
Finish.
Oh.
Finish.
No way!
Fucking go, guys!
Let's go!
Let's effing go indeed. Deimperos get the dub, and Crux is out joining us for a winner's interview. First, of course, congratulations to you and the squad. You officially qualified for the main event. Now, heading into this match, we talked about this being a rematch. You already faced off against each other in the Swiss stage. That was also a 2-0, but it was a very close match. Once again, a very close match. Why do you think they always managed to take you all the way? And also, what were the cons like after you went down 0-2 first things? Oh, well, don't think we can hear Crocs. Don't think I'm really good at lip reading, but I will not attempt.
Oh, you muted yourself, silly. At least he looks happy.
He looks very happy.
You heard in the comms too how excited they were.
Right?
We don't hear you quite yet.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Oh!
Is it good now?
Have we tried plugging it in and out again? It always works.
Yeah.
You were just so excited,
Exactly.
you like pulled the cord or something.
Yeah.
Then walk us through the excitement. Like, what was going on through the series? It was, again, such a close one. Why was it so close, and how did you guys edge it out in the end?
I guess it was so close just for the content. We wanted just to reverse sweep to have fun, you know?
Love that. I had fun.
No, I think joke aside, like they play really good, and like we play into their game like the two first maps, sorry. And after I just said like, fuck it guys, Coliseo is my map. I'll just do whatever I want and we win the game. And I did it, and like that was actually close to lose because I still get fucked a bit, but after I flank with Orissa and like this is how I play the game, it's win.
You won the last fight running into Skyle like that when TVNT left him, so you were a huge part of that success, and apparently getting to do what you want. But we heard in the comms check, we got to do some listenings during Shambali, and I remember hearing your team say, they're tilted. What was the moment that told your team that ROCStars were off their game?
I think that's me that said that. I say they tilted because they test stuff, because through the map, through the game, they were just playing the same comp like Bap and Cassidy, when usually you play Kiriko Sojourn. And I was just like, oh, they're trying stuff, they tilted, we do straight line, close to full hold, like easy, go next.
There you go. I mean, like, it kind of looked like you guys were about to get the full hold on Shambali anyway, and then you're able to still draw that line. But how excited are you, Crocs, to get a chance to go to the main event? And what do you think, like, your chances are against the rest of the teams that are already there waiting for you?
I'm actually really happy because it's been a long time I didn't play in Contenders, even though now it's different. But like it's back in 2020 or 2021, if I remember well. So I take a long break and now I'm back from Overwatch Stage 1 and Stage 2 and I make top 8 and I'm ready to face SSJ if we play them. Maybe they lose first or I don't know. I don't know who we're gonna play, but I'm happy. It's only good people, so I'm down to try again.
Well, we're very excited to see you in the main event, and Saperli Popette, if we're going to see more matches like this, I am in for it. Crocs, thank you so much for joining us for a quick chat. Best of luck in the main event, and we hope to hear again from you very soon.
Thank you, and vive la baguette, sacre bleu.